Look at me, I look like a right knob. The road fae hell. Basically, he done that in an old Massey Ferguson. Alright, so I've finished ploughing in this field here, the bog field it's known as, and I could go and plough the grass field that's going into barley, but as Dad says, I can probably plough that far easier when it's wet, so I have to take this opportunity to get the dung up to the top of this big hill, because well, it takes a wee while for it to dry out. The drains aren't that brilliant up there as well, so Dad's actually draining up there, so hopefully that'll help, but it just seems to be the way it is up there. We've tried and tried and it's still no right. Must just be the kind of soil it is up there. It's quite a wee drive up. This road's quite bouncy. Drive in that gateway with a dung spreader to get that field spread, to take it quite wide up here. It's quite tight round all these old buildings. These aren't ours before anybody says why don't we sort them up. This shed is, that's where we keep our plough. And this is just when the road starts getting rougher and rougher as I go up. And the top part of that bog field down to the farm. Wee silage field there. Another wee one in there. The bit with the scorched grass, that's the one I'm going to be ploughing soon. Dad went round it with a sprayer a couple of times just to kill any cooch that could be round the outsides. Cooch is a grass that isn't very good, it grows under, Dad describes it as it grows like a carpet underneath the ground and it comes up through, of course, and it's very hard to get rid of unless you spray it to kill it. So that's him just trying to make sure it's not there first. The roads aren't that brilliant up this way. Over that side of that hill over there it's better, but this one doesn't get used that often, only for dung and when you're bringing barley in, sometimes silage, just depends, but could do a wee bit of maintenance right enough, but the worst bit's yet to come further up. Quite a wee haul for this, just to get the dung up here. to the big hill as we know it. Very rough here. It's probably had the least amount of rock over the years because it's been so far away. But the dung spreader will do a good job of widening the road. There you can see that's where Dad's working on the drain. One of the drains. This whole top area gets right wet. There are a lot of holes up here where the drains that have been left open, meaning to get back to them, etc. It's just takes time to pick your bits, so I'll be driving across here to get up there onto the drier bit, spread the load and come back down into the wetter bit with a half load so that I don't get stuck, of course. Even this is a bit of a pull. Just a bit greasy because of the gully being a wee bit wet there, like. Get into gear, start the PTO, that's better. Open the back door. Start the floor. And we're away. Quite rough because of the combine. When we harvested it was a wee bit wetter, so the combine was sinking and it's got a bit rougher, especially over there. As it's wetter, you can see it's right next to a moor, which is probably why our soil is a bit strange up here, because there's a peat bog right in there, just over the now there, the peat bog just there. And then the soil types is kind of clay, peat, a lot of different types, and then it can be really nice soil over here and some red clay up here. Yes, I am aware the windows need cleaned. Don't you worry. See the dung working its way back there. there's an absolute drop of a gully just here, and my grandpa ploughed it with a 1 furrow plough years ago, just to make use out of it and plant grass in it rather than it being winds and whatnot. So all that got taken out and it got ploughed with a 1 furrow, and all he said to Dad was, never do that. I'm pretty sure that was along the kind of lines he said, because I do believe it was on a right old massey and it was very scary, and you'll see why in just a minute. Now you might be thinking it doesn't look that steep, but the further down you go, the more of a drop it gets, and aye, it went across it with a massey and this wee plough. Right at this end of that run, and I'll go across up to the top. But aye, basically he done that on an old Massey Ferguson. Lucky man. I'm sure it was a 1 furrow, or was it a 2 furrow? Never mind, he done it anyway. 2 furrow conventional plough. A lot of the stone for the farm came from the moor up there. There's a old quarry up there that you can see where they used to chisel it out. There's still some pinholes where they would have took the next bricks. But that's the neighbour's ground. So there's the peat bog in there. You don't really want to go in there, I think you'd disappear, it's very wet. Just checking that was recording. Otherwise I would have just been talking to myself. Aye, so no good in there, like. See the tractor and the dung spreader's now drifting in there, so put it up a gear and it'll keep it going forward. Slow down because it's not as steep now. Well, it's not steep, but you're definitely at an angle. When it's greasy like that, you're not really wanting to be drifting about. And the back door's going down. As the dung's going down, keep you safe. You're safe for the stones. This field's just under 30 acres. I think that's that empty. Shut the PTO off and make for home. It is wet up here, or it was. Don't know if I'd be chancing going through this section with a full dung spreader right enough. Well, Dad's brave, leapfrogging that drain like that. Getting there now with this hill. I think another 2 or 3 loads across it by the looks of it. Oh, I'll be glad to see the back of this blooming road. The road fae hell. Just rough as hell. If you take your time, it's fine, but you still get rocked about. Well, I don't know, just over the years, the water running down it's just ruined it. I've always known it to be like this, so I'm not sure if it was ever smooth. But at least this keeps the compaction off the fields. As tempting as it is just to drive up the fields. Stick to the roads and it saves the fields, right? Won't be long till I'm ploughing up here. I think this year I think the hole from the year before is actually up this side. There it's there, aye. So I'm gonna have to plough from here across. But it's a steep one. By the time you get to the other side, it's really steep, like. But this is the best way to spread the dung. You spread up the top by going up the rest of that really bad bit of road there, and then as you get further over, you come straight in here. Don't know how many of you have seen this thing, but that's basically headland management. You press this button, you set it so that it's at the right revs, and then you press it, the tractor revs up to bang on 1,000, which is where I set it. And that just means when I get to the end, I just need to press that button and it takes the pressure, well, it takes the revs off again. It's quite handy, just means that I don't need to. It's just a fancy gadget, it's not required, but it's handy because it's there. Look at me, I look like a right knob. So quite a good coverage, the dung. I think. You'll see what I mean by the time I get to the other side of how steep it actually is. Or maybe not, I'm not sure how it'll look on the camera. The camera doesn't do it justice, as I've seen in other videos that I've put up. Down there, the dog leg we call it, that's part of this field. I've always said to Dad I want to rip that fence out and just make this one big field, but he's no for it. But that dog leg down there, that's all sand. That's really nice soil to plough. Just turns over amazingly. But when you're sowing it and stuff, with it being on a slight angle, you have to sow at an angle and basically drift because it's so light on the top and you're just moving all the time, so you turn up a wee bit and it keeps you in the right place. Bit of a pain, but not much we can do about it, that's just the way it is. So the right steep bit that's just over here, you need to spread up the top and then make sure we were coming down here with less, because you would not. It wouldn't be very good driving straight down there with a full load. Right, PTO off. I've always to switch the PTO off because we don't actually have a wide angle PTO on this thing, so it's just a shame. There you go, take the revs off it. So it might try and shove me as I'm turning. Kinda is a wee bit, but I'll not do it too quickly. To be very careful when you're ploughing over there and turning at the steepest part, because you'll have to plough out the ground, try and turn it. You can quite easily count the tractor. So that's about basically it. This field is just right awkward and hellish to plough. So, anyway, now you all know what I'm up to. So, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Please join me again soon. Leave a wee subscribe, a like and a comment and tell me what you like the most, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much.